What's up? We're in the house again.
We back.
Been a minute.
We back.
Yo.
A lot of things happened this week.
So many things.
Too many things almost. God darn.
And we talked about this off air, but we'll talk about it on air. I named the show The Breakup because of the amount of breakups that happened this week. It was definitely not us that broke up. But
No, we are not broken up.
But
We're nervous.
Jenny did text me immediately and was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "No."
She was getting ready to make a dense update about it.
I was like, she was like, "Wait, don't tell me. I'll just watch the show." And I was like, "It's gonna be underwhelming. It's not what you think." I just thought it was funny because like Trump and Elon broke up.
Oh.
Riley Gaines and Simone Biles broke up. Who's the other one? Oh, Orlando Bloom and what's her face? The singer.
Who
chick.
was he married to? I know who you're talking about, but Katy Perry?
Katy Perry. Yeah,
they broke up?
Yeah, they're broken up. So lots of breakups this week.
Wait, I did not hear that.
So I figured, I mean, the Trump Elon breakup is like, we have to talk about that. That's insane. Jake, what's up?
Jakey boy.
Has Jared been on a sunbed? Omar, what's good? Breakups? Yeah, not us though. Not us. Oh yeah, StreamYard broke up. Yep.
StreamYard definitely broke up.
Who's back? Oh, Trump and Elon are back together. Yeah, but there was a big divorce court battle that we have to. When Elon put out there that like Trump's on the Epstein list.
That was.
Yo.
Yeah.
I also saw somewhere that it was like made up. Like they did it on purpose to cause or to kind of see everybody's reaction. So I mean, what is true and what's not true? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if somebody actually if any public figure says that another public figure is on the Epstein list, you have to pay attention to that, right?
Yeah.
You can't not.
Yeah.
Now I want to know. Now you're going to have to prove that you weren't on the Epstein list.
Do you think we'll ever actually get that list? They've been talking about it for how long now? 6 months?
No. And
that's sad.
And also it's like, you can't come back from that either. But if anybody could, it would be Trump. But now I need to know if you were on the Epstein list.
You think he could though? From something like that? I mean, everybody's been pretty chill.
Dude, he's Teflon Don. People will forget about it now that they've made up again. Though people will forget about it, and he's the Don. Like,
but if he is, with how much people already hate him, I don't know.
He will not come back
from that. So if the list ever comes out, which it probably won't, like you said, and he is on that, that's it. That's game over right there.
I thought it was staged. I definitely thought it was staged. I thought that they had their, what was it, 130 days that Elon was allowed to be in the group chat.
The group chat.
He was allowed to be in the boys locker room with everybody else. And yeah, Olivia, he's a strange duck. Elon is a strange duck. But he was allowed to be in the locker room chat. And then after 130 days, he got kicked out of the locker room chat. And then I feel like they faked a little like beef to get him out of the locker room.
Embellishment.
Yeah. But now I'm like,
he's too smart to, you know what I'm saying? He's very calculated. So that would make sense, right?
I don't think either one of those guys don't plan things. Like they plan shit. It's scripted. The president of the United States is basically a social media show.
At this point, yeah, absolutely.
Like he's reality TV. His shit is scripted. So they're little, and now Elon's like, no, we're friends, blah blah, whatever. You know what I mean? Like they did that shit on purpose. It was amazing television.
Yeah.
There's always amazing television.
Reality TV for sure.
Olivia, he's not on the list. Elon wanted to make himself heard because he hates the big, beautiful bill. His VE mandates Oh, yeah, we're shut down. He lost 1.2 billion by helping Trump.
Damn.
Okay, fair.
Damn.
The other part of that is, do we have to know, like, Trump can't get elected again. So do we have to know that if he was or was not on the list at this point?
I think so, because it was one of his promise. Well, was it a promise or was it something he said he would do? Right? He kind of
call the list.
Yeah, he kind of told us he would do it, but and maybe that's why we don't know, because maybe he's on that list and he's like, you know what, this would be pretty stupid if I release. I don't know. That's a tough one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't get to see any. Oh, Dense, what's up, girl? Jeremy, you're a regular now. We got to get you a better camera, homie.
I literally, this is a camera right here. This is an attached $35 Amazon camera. Still sucks. Dang, I'll upgrade.
I don't even think it's your camera. It's probably your internet. Also, nice shirt.
Don't talk about the Wi-Fi. It's good so far. And Meg's not here to shout at somebody yet. So
yeah, fair.
It's good right now.
Next question. If you are on the Epstein list, are you also automatically on the Diddy list? Because I heard that today too.
Interesting.
Yeah. They kind of go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like, same type of people, just depraved, kind of gross, nasty individuals. Yeah, I can see that.
Rich people.
Yeah.
But is the Epstein list kind of like the Diddy parties? So you hear people say that they've gone to the Diddy parties, but they went before all of these freak offs happened. So they might be on a Diddy party list. They might be on a what was it? What do they call it? The white parties?
The white parties, yeah.
So like if they're on a list, does that automatically make them guilty associated with all of these things? Is that the same thing with the Epstein list? Just because isn't this list, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't this list just people that went to, like, on his plane to the island, but there's not actually, does that make you guilty?
I would ask, like, what were they going to Epstein Island for? If it weren't to do what is known that they were doing, you know, like, what were they doing? Like, I mean, if like rich people are going there for a vacation or business meeting to discuss some type of business, sure, but like, I don't know, it's just too tainted. It's too likely that they were up to no good to be like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't give them the benefit of the doubt with all the, you know, stuff that's come up.
That's been leaked, yeah.
No. Oh, well, hold on, Jake, I'll get there. Epstein is all bureaucrats and politicians. Diddy is celebrities, and oh yeah, Obama. I think it's both. Dude, I really do.
The Epstein might be a little bit more bureaucrats and politicians, but I think they both have a good mix of both for sure.
So what happens? Because I heard this argument too, like, hey, I was there, but I didn't do anything. I didn't know that section of the. That's what
I was asking before.
If you saw it, then you should have said this is effed up.
Exactly. Right? Those, to me, I'd argue that those might be the worst. Not the worst of the two, but like, you knew what was going on, because you can't not know what's going on. You can't be at a party like that. I don't care if you're in the other part, like, you can't, or that island. If you knew what was going on, and you didn't say anything, it's just like with Biden. Everyone knew what was going on, but they kept playing the game anyways. You're just as bad, if not worse, as Biden himself or as the people that were doing stuff. You have that knowledge, you know, like, hey, dudes are diddling kids, and you don't say nothing. You're horrible, terrible.
Oh man, dude. Do you? And the last thing is, do you put that our liberals now? They're running around screaming like we love Elon again because Elon called out Trump for the Epstein list. So is that just him getting his?
Are they buying his Teslas again?
They're just okay with Teslas again. Like, they're not blowing up Tesla. Yeah. So did he do that just to stop people from blowing up Teslas? Because that's crazy.
That's
that
the thing
would
that
be the
is
type
so. That's the thing that's so interesting to me is that when it comes to all of this shit, they think that they're so. We'll take the Teslas for instance. They think they're making a statement and affecting Elon personally by going and vandalizing these Teslas. Elon is not driving the Tesla that's parked down the street from you. Mary is, Joe is, Jim is, whoever, like that family is driving that Tesla. If you vandalize that Tesla, it's not going to affect Elon. The Tesla has already been bought. He's already got his money. So I never understand the logic behind making a statement by vandalizing somebody else's property. Like
I think
you're
you
mad
just
at
said you said the magic word, logic. I keep telling folks like that's what they don't they're not thinking that far. It's like a feeling, act on the feeling. There's no like, man, I hate Elon. Oh, he makes Teslas, so I'm gonna go vandalize the Tesla. Hold on. Elon, like you said, isn't driving that Tesla. It's my neighbor down the street that's gotta take their 4 kids to school and then go to work. They don't think about that. It's just like Tesla, Elon, anger, emotions, vandalize. There's no thought. It's just part of the outrage culture. That
the fun part for me is the fact that they flip flop so quickly, right? So it was like, it was like, oh, Elon is endorsing Trump. Let's blow up Tesla companies. Now that Elon said on X that Trump's, on the Epstein list, now it's like, oh, Teslas are fine.
Yep.
How quickly was that? It was so fast. Did it take a day? But all of a sudden you don't hear about Teslas burning anymore.
Yeah.
It just, you can't, and babe, we were talking about this before. Like you can't have a conversation because it's either like you agree with everything that we say or we're going to fight. Like, I don't want to fight. We can disagree and not fight. But
I just want to have a conversation. Like, if you want to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. But the minute that someone starts getting like yelling,
"Hi, Meg, missed you," but everyone is on the Epstein list, so
including Megan. I see you, Megan.
Jeremy, are you on the Hooters list?
Yeah, I'm like the platinum membership at Hooters. We're going
Bernie,
there for dinner after
this. Oh, Bernie, I had a good question for you last night. You can pull that question back up. I'll read it. But I had a really good question for you last night. I was watching Daniel. I remembered his name. Daniel. Yeah, Unashamed. Daniel and Brock. And I had a really good question for you. I'll send it to you in the DMs. Bernie Gannon, Epstein and Diddy lists are the tip of the iceberg. I'm hearing disturbing rumors that Jeremy may be on the Hooters list.
It's not a rumor anymore. That's a fact. It's my favorite place. Actually, it's funny. Do you guys still have Hooters around your area? Do you see any Hooters?
No, I haven't seen one in a while.
We had one.
The city, maybe?
Probably, yeah, I would imagine probably more towards the city. Like 10 minutes away from me. It was there probably till about 3 to 5 years ago, and that's the last Hooters I've seen anywhere.
You can't have Hooters anymore because you can't sexualize women. So no more Hooters.
Can't look in the Hooters no more. Cover yourself up, Colleen. Cover it up. Oh, it's crazy, man.
Did you see? Oh, just for fun's sake, did you see Sevon this morning call Facundo that gay guy that programs for Mayhem? Dude, I felt
2 seconds before he came on. He's like,
I was dying. He was probably in the studio. I was dying.
He heard it. Facundo heard it.
Yeah,
he comes on. He's like, "Did you just call me the gay guy?" And he's like, "I don't know." Half the time, I don't know if Sevon knows what he's saying, dude. He's just
loved when Facundo was asking Sev questions, and he was like, I was like, yes, get him.
Turned it around on him.
Get him.
Get him.
That was good. That was real good.
It was.
Facundo is a G, man. I really hope I can meet that guy someday. I like him, man. He's a good
he
dude.
loves Jenny, so I think he was trying to make Seb jealous.
Yeah.
So Hooters are allowed to be out. It's all good. Like,
it's all good.
Facundo loves. Well, that he said that was the third thing on the list that he liked. So it's like maybe I like that a little less, but that's fair.
Yeah.
Jeremy looks blacker tonight. You do? Did you? Were you running in the sun? What's happening?
I just worked out outside before this, but it's been, the sun's been out, and it does not take me long. I spend 5 minutes outside, and I go from you to this, like that.
Sean Lenderman, the lighting is crazy. Jeremy finally looks blacker than me.
That's what I did. I was sick of Sean's white ass looking blacker than I was like, come on, man.
Sean Lenderman, you're a G2, dude. Like that podcast that you did the mile on, that was fire. That was so fun to watch.
That thumbnail that Jan created, though.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's good at that. He's real good at that. Jan makes some great thumbnails. Yep. I love him.
So and I love the title, The Great White Hope. We have that. I have to pull it off of YouTube because obviously you guys didn't get to do it yesterday. Were you and Augie just sitting around waiting to see like if StreamYard would come back? Or
basically that's what we had this WhatsApp or whatever. What's that? Yeah, WhatsApp chat. And Jake, Jan, Augie, Heidi, a bunch of people are in there. And I don't know, 30 minutes, Jake, something Jan before we were gonna go, he's like, StreamYard's down, and at that point I was just getting to the gym to start warming up. I thought Jake was teasing us, but I couldn't even I think there were more problems than just StreamYard because it's connected to so much. We Bluetooth, like a little phone at the gym with music to the speakers. That wouldn't even work. Nothing was working. Oh, so yeah, I'm just sitting around. We're just kind of going back and forth, talking a little bit of trash, but yeah, that was disappointing. I was really excited, especially when they, first of all, Augie's like half my age. I know this dude's fit. I know he's very fit. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to try like real hard. Not that I haven't been, like, I'm really got to go hard. And then they're talking about how awful the workout is. And I'm like, oh my God. I thought maybe it would just be a repeat of last week and they were just trying to keep it a secret. But I hope it's not, because that was horrible. That was horrible.
So you guys, this is the same thing that's going to happen for next week. Are you just determined to stay on every week? I've already told both of them. I told Jan and Jake. I was like, no, Jeremy's the people's champ now. You can't that's right. We need a Masters division.
Represent. Yeah. Ken Walters is next week. No, I don't have I gotta stay on every week, but I do want to beat Augie. I want no hard feelings. I love the guy. He's a good dude. But I want to see if this old bull still has it again. I think, what is he, 23, 24 years old? He's working out with Colton Mertens. He's very fit. So if I can hang with him, I'll feel good about myself.
Augie and Jeremy are probably the two fittest dudes in our circle. I'm excited for it. I was excited for it this week, and that sucked. It just was that middle of the day. It was down. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into the other breakup. My dream is Ken Walters coming on. Is he mad at you guys right now? What's happening? I don't even know I know he's mad at he was mad at Jeremy for a hot minute. What'd you do to him?
Don't
mess with your elders, Jeremy.
I try not to. I met Ken at the 22 or 23 games in Madison. I met him. We talked for a long time.
He's always mad.
He's always mad. Yeah, he's a good dude. But what Ken does that he's mad at me now is I call him out. In the chat, people go back and forth religiously. Like Savant says talking about.
We're aware about the chat,
right? So Pat will say something, David Weed will say something, sometimes Jake will say something, and then Ken just comes at him in that over evangelical, okay, get out of my face kind of a thing. And all I'll say is Ken, dude, you're doing it again. Hey, just chill out kind of a thing. We know you believe. None of these dudes are really trying to be malicious. And he gets mad at me for that. He's like, I'll say what I want to say. And these people need to hear the word of God. And it's bro, you just back off a little bit. You're not going to win them over. I'll guarantee you that, especially the way you're doing it. So. Ken doesn't have courage. That's why he's mad. I get it.
All right, next one. The next breakup. Antonio Brown broke up with himself. Did you see that shit?
What?
What?
I did not see that.
No,
Wow.
he's freaking accused of attempted murder at this point.
What?
Yeah, Antonio Brown, the weird dude that went. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Homeboy needs to be
there was some
institutionalized.
sort of something outside of a nightclub. There's video. He had a gun. He took a gun off somebody else and shot it and whatever.
At somebody or just shot it?
Yeah, AB beat the crap out of someone. Yeah, it was all over the news. And
man, dude. Some people say that when he was on the Steelers, that I want to say the linebacker for the Bengals, Vontaze Burfict, something like that. You don't remember that? They you know that AFC was it AFC East is just hard. Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Cleveland Browns, hard-nosed, crazy football. Well, there's like highlight reels of Vontaze Burfict just mashing Antonio Brown in like crossing patterns, just concussion galore. I think it messed. Yeah, CT. I think that's really messed because he kind of was a little eccentric before coming in, but after that he just completely lost his mind. I think just some screws are gone.
Yeah, he had that thing. Didn't
I
he?
found a video. Do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it. He beat up some dude that was moving his stuff.
NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown is a wanted man. Authorities are now searching for him on an attempted murder charge. Local 10's Hannah Yashibi is live outside the jail in West Miami-Dade. She tells us about the shooting last month that led to the warrant.
Christy and Janice were at the jail here in West Miami-Dade, and if former NFL star Antonio Brown turns himself in, or if police officers escort him, this is the gate right here behind me where he will get processed. All of this as a judge recently signed a warrant for his arrest. This is the video that in part has led to these new charges. A brawl that happened about a month ago at a warehouse in Little Haiti. That fight ended up with shots fired. At the warehouse, online streamer Aiden Ross invited Brown to his podcast as a guest speaker. It was at the event that Brown says a group of people tried to steal his necklace. Now, after a few weeks under review, the Miami-Dade State Office is now telling Local 10 there is a warrant for the arrest of Antonio Brown for attempted second-degree murder. They also say law enforcement officers are currently looking for him. According to this warrant obtained by the Washington Post, the former Bucks and Steelers player will be allowed to post a $10,000 bond for house arrest until his trial happens.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Golly.
I know.
Yeah,
he hasn't been doing well for a while, right?
That's what I'm saying. And you go to a party. I know you were invited and stuff, but man, I don't know, dude. I mean, every single famous athlete, especially if you're well known, that you go somewhere, people are gonna chirp. People are gonna try to mess with you. They're gonna do something. And if you ain't together up here, you don't want to be there. That's crazy. That's sad, man.
The thing about all these guys for me is there's nobody around them. Like Megan brought up Hernandez. And it's like he lost his dad and then he probably had a little bit of CTE. He went nuts and there was nobody around him to put him back in his place.
Right.
AB too. But there's nobody around him. They just let him go nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
That is the saddest part. That's like the codependence or the people that knew about Epstein Island or whatever that haven't said anything. Hey, if you got a loved one that's just not there anymore, you gotta step up. But you also can only do so much. Maybe there are people in his family. Maybe he's got brothers, sisters, somebody that's like, yo, get some help. And he's like, yeah, whatever, I got this. And now you got this. This is crazy.
Well, you go from zero to stardom overnight when you're a professional athlete.
Right.
Social media takes it to a whole nother level. So it goes back to that conversation of does society give this spotlight, this stardom to these kids that are so young in these platforms? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they build their own brand and they get big so they can make money, and they make a lot of money, but you're giving somebody that has little to nothing everything. And you're literally telling them that they can do anything that they want to because they are of stardom power or status, I guess you could say. And if you don't have, they have managers and stuff like that, but like you guys were just saying, like, are these managers actually helping them, or are they just furthering their own careers? Like, should there be necessary therapy or something to be able to support this huge growth from like shooting out of a fucking cannon?
Yeah.
To help these guys realize. I mean, we've talked to Bill about this. We've talked to you about this. We've talked to a bunch of people about this, of like, now everybody knows you and nobody knows what that feels like unless you're actually in that position. And you see so many of these guys like Hernandez. Yeah, we've seen the documentary and whatever that go from
I want to bring
touchable to being untouchable.
Yeah.
No, I've seen the documentary. I've seen every documentary on Hernandez, the A&E one, all of them. But the thing for me was when he was at Florida and he shot people at Florida, the Gators, they covered all that shit up. The university just covered it up and just let him play as normal. There was no consequences for him even being out. He shouldn't have even been out drinking. And they just let them do it. And it's like, well, then the next step is this.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
all the enablers along the way, that the lack of keeping it real, punishing them, stuff like that is sad. And then to Colleen's point, a lot of those dudes, I'm not sure about Hernandez, but a lot of like the Antonio Browns, they come from too often a no-father household. Their influence is typically a single mom who's stressed to the max. Matter of fact, 3 or so years ago, Savan had played this clip of a dude that was in prison for some stuff. And that guy said while he was in prison, he was walking the track and he got this old guy who'd been there for a long time, said, you know why all these dudes are in here, right? And the guy's like, I told him murder, theft, whatever. He's like, no, he's like, most of these dudes were raised with just a mom. So they're exuding, they're acting on their female tendencies, and not there's no man to be like, hey, no, like Gary, you talk about your grandfather all the time. Nope, you ain't gonna do that. Go out, chop some wood or do something like that. They never had that. It was just unhealthy female outbursts, and that's what you see in Antonio Brown. Just lose your mind, 0 to 100, because they never had that. Hey, stop. Let's think about this. Create some space. They never had that. It's an epidemic, if you ask me, when you look at all these athletes.
Do you think that's and this is going to be a tough question for me to say out loud just because of my family and whatever, but do you, Sevan talked about it a little bit today, and I've heard Blair White talk about it. She's a conservative transgender woman. Do you think that it's because if you're raised by a single Black mother, that like that's an energy, right? Like you're taught that almost you're not going to be good enough ever,
right? Because
you're Black, you're a dude. The world is not going to treat you right. The cops aren't going to treat you right. Schools aren't going to treat you right. Like everything isn't going to treat you right. You're literally you're not going to be good enough to get into Harvard. Yeah, you're not going to be good enough to do anything. Like you're just told that immediately. And there's a special way for you to walk through this world, and you have to be taught the special way to walk through this world. Does that come into play here for like Antonio Brown or Aaron Hernandez? Like,
yeah,
because Aaron Hernandez he was half Latino, half white, but even then, like at that time frame, that was still a thing that was going on.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that plays a huge role. I mean, there's both sides of it. Like, one of my favorite people, Dr. Ben Carson, he ran, I think in 2016, he was also running for president, brain surgeon, something like that, black guy. He didn't have a dad, but his mom, his black mom was she had the right mindset. She didn't instill that victim mentality that you just said, like, we'll never, what's up, Aaron? Your life is going to be harder because of the color of your skin. You're going to have to do all these special things. You're going to have to act a certain way. He didn't get that instilled in him. Whereas the Antonio Browns, or, even in my neck of the woods in Milwaukee, Latrell Sprewell years ago, he lost his mind, and just, they unfortunately were just raised around the type. Not all of them are like this, obviously, with the example of Ben Carson, but the type of black single mom of victim. And it's just a cycle, and it just keeps going and going, and then that spreads to everybody else.
I don't know if you've heard this, or you, babe, either, but they just tried to pass something in California where the schools, it was like there's no failing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can't fail anything. You can take the test over and over and over again until you pass it. So it's saying, it's almost like telling the kid, hey, you're not going to be good enough, but we're going to give you everything possible so that you can do it.
You remove every incentive to actually get better. So then the kid has no incentive to get better.
Right.
I'm just going to keep being a screw off and keep getting these bad grades because I can't. Whereas when we were little, it was like, what is life without failure? Like, when we were little, hey, you got a bad grade, your teacher's going to let you know. You might have a guidance counselor that's going to let you know. Your parents are going to let you know, or whoever's raising you. And that's a good thing. Hey, you can't be getting these bad grades. You can't be acting out. You can't. When you live in victim land, this is what you get.
I didn't hear that, but I remember the whole No Child Left Behind thing. Is that pretty much what you're talking about? That
this is way more than that. Yeah. No Child Left Behind, I think, had a lot to do with like just food, having access to tutors, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. This is just like, hey, you don't have to do anything. There's not even that plan. There's not even homework. Like, they don't have to do homework. They don't have to, turn in tests. They don't have to, whatever. And I get it if you think that the kid has a bad home life, right? Like, maybe the kid has a single mom, and that mom is working really hard, right? She's got like 3 jobs. There's 3 kids in the household and whatever. So you want to give that kid a break, but not teaching your kid how to overcome hardships is horrible.
It's terrible. Because not only as a kid, but as they grow up, that's what we're seeing.
We walk that fine line as parents, as we're teaching our children in the path to eventually be an adult. Mm-hmm. And if we only look at them as babies all the time, we're never going to give them the tools to become an adult. And we say that all the time. Like, we're raising a man. Mm-hmm. He's 8, but we're raising a man. And how do we raise a man? You know what I mean? Like, or how do we get him ready for this world? How do we, change our own views on men because of what we've both been through? Like, how do we, and we do that by talking to you and Jake and Jan and Sev and the whole crew, Bill and everybody. We talk to men of like, hey, we're obviously not men. We know you guys are all good men. Like, how do we help us raise our kid? Even if it is from afar. That's why we have all these questions and have all these conversations. You know what I mean? But sure. I think we forget, and we want to keep them young forever. And I'm guilty of it. I want to keep G in a bubble all the time in so many ways, but I'm like, I can't. Like, to the point now where, like, if we're in the grocery store and he wants to go in the end of the aisle to go get something, I'm like, go, bud. And I will purposely walk to the next aisle. I can hear him. I can see him. but I will check and then I will go to the next aisle. So then he comes and finds me. And is it difficult for him? He feels like I've left him. Yeah, but I'm like, baby, it's also like you are capable
That's a good thing.
of
Yeah.
not being in my sight for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I have to get over the fear of you hear so many people that kids get abducted in grocery stores. Be careful when you walk to your car because you could have someone walk up behind you or walk up. You know what I mean? Like, this is the fear that we live in. But I'm like, God, he is going to be an adult at some point. He needs to be able to walk on his own and know that, like, I'm still here, but you can go down to the end of the aisle without me, you know? And it's tough. It's tough
very hard,
watching our kids grow up.
It's very hard. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Bernie, isn't it also possible that sometimes there are just bad seeds in all groups? Environment is surely a factor, but even folks who seemingly have the best of everything do harm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We all had those friends too where their mom and dad were great, or mom and stepdad, or whatever, you know, they had a great home life, they had a great everything, whatever, but they were just hell-bent on being a terrorizer. And there's definitely exceptions to a lot of this, but I think a lot of it falls into specific behaviors by a parent that lead to the kid doing whatever, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's true, Bernie. It's true.
Okay, next breakup. You want to hit up this Simone Biles, Riley Gaines situation?
Yeah.
Yo, I have been a longtime fan of Simone Biles. And even through the Larry Nassar thing that she went through, I totally was like, yeah, fuck him. He needs to absolutely go to jail for the rest of his life, castrate him, do whatever.
Right.
And then Simone Biles comes out and it just shits. Bro, fuck Simone Biles. And we love her in this house. I mean, that was what I was feeling at the time when she put out her first post calling Riley Gaines disgusting or sick or whatever the hell she did, and pick on somebody your own size and whatever.
She called Riley Gaines a man.
Yeah, she called Riley Gaines a man.
Looks like a dude.
Which the most ridiculous shit. But I have to imagine though that she's also stuck in this woke whirlwind of shit.
Yep. I swear, like 3/4 of what we're seeing in situations and news stories like that is one person, maybe both, but like definitely one party stuck in that mentality that super woke can't think past a certain thought or a certain emotion, a certain feeling. They want to please other people. I think that's a huge part of it, is like they had people in their life that they're afraid of letting down if they don't toe a certain line, say a certain thing, sing a certain tune, and they're afraid. Well, my brother, my mom, my dad, they'll be angry at me, not knowing like that's probably the best thing that can happen, because it's going to free you to think how you want to think, and you're going to have to accept that they're not. It's all good. Like, it's scary, but yeah, she's just caught up in Wokeville.
Were you surprised when you first saw it?
Not surprised. I was disappointed, but not surprised. Unfortunately, it's just because maybe I'm cynical now, but you just see it all the time. You just see it all the time. Everywhere you look, it's some type of situation where someone's saying something ridiculous, and yeah, I'm not surprised.
For me, it's just, okay, so she's already stuck in the woke victim bubble, right?
Yeah.
Not only is she stuck in that, but she's suffered years of actual physical abuse by someone that like her parents trusted, she was supposed to be able to trust, and had to perform at the highest level while being abused. So of course, like in my mind, of course she's going to try to stick up for whoever she feels like is being bullied. Right? Because basically she feels like she's been bullied her entire life. So she's going to try to she sees a white woman who now has a lot of fame. She probably perceives has a lot of money and a husband and is straight. And so now she's just going to be like, well, you're just picking on minorities at this point and people who have had it worse than you.
Mm-hmm.
And, but Riley went on the Stephen A. Smith show and she said something, and even Stephen A. didn't quite get it. I think he got it towards the end, but she was like, hey, Riley Gaines was like, you have been like sexually assaulted, right, for a long time and by someone that you were supposed to trust. So in Riley Gaines's mind, you should understand what it's like. Like they have to go shower and have a fully intact man showering next to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay.
Right. And if anyone should understand that,
it should be Simone Biles. And so Riley was like, hey, if you want to verbally punch me, that's fine. But I'm more just, you should understand what it's like for a woman whose space has been invaded by a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, dude. Like
it's really that simple. It's really that simple. But when you're caught up, we all know people, either we once were, or we know people that we love or are friends or work with that are just so caught in that super woke mindset where they're maybe even, like you were saying, their trauma isn't allowing them to like even think logically about a situation, but more emotionally charged, where logic is like secondary. Maybe it comes down the line, but like right now I'm just so emotionally charged based on my own trauma, based on this mindset I have, that they're not even seeing the trees through the forest or whatever. They're just caught in, feelingville. And it's really unfortunate. Your point is so perfect. Like if anyone should know what we're trying to say, or what Riley Gaines is trying to say, it would be you, because you've been abused by a man. And all we're saying is we just don't want someone that's we don't hate trans people. We just don't want someone that has a penis to be in our locker room. I mean, that's we've lost our way that much that's
you gotta
even an
feel
argument.
like, and babe, you can tell me, but as that age, like, so Riley Gaines was in college, probably her senior year. So she was at that like 21, 22 mark. That age group between like 20 and 23, 24 is when we really are kind of trying to get comfortable with sex, because we've probably either had something happen to us, or we know somebody that's had something happen to them, or whatever, and we're trying to figure it out. And if anything happens to you in that window, it's gonna sit with you for like that's not gonna go away.
No.
And look at Riley Gaines now. Like that happened to her, and Riley Gaines is a force of nature at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So and it could go either way. Like you can become a force of nature, or you can become like a wilting willow tree.
Yep.
That just never leaves the house anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It was weird.
It's hard to not be the weeping willow tree. I mean, if you're 19, 20, 21-year-old girl, or unfortunately younger, and you're taken advantage of sexually, you're assaulted, you're raped, whatever, man, that's not like you had a bad breakup and it's hard to get over. It's not like you lost a job. It's not like you got bad grades. You can get over that stuff. You can, it's not that, it's hard, but it's not that hard. That getting over stuff like that is next to impossible for a lot of people. So I get where you get hung up on it and it affects you for a long time. But man, the other side of that, the overcoming side of that, where you see in the Riley Gaines, that's why she has the following she has. People respect that. People love that, and they can get with that.
Babe, you want to get on Bernie Yannon? Why would someone like Simone Biles take the time to tweet something so obviously controversial? Deeply held belief or just attention?
It seems like attention.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely seems like attention because it was so left field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really was. And that's why I asked Jeremy, like, were you surprised? I was surprised. And kind of in the same principle that you guys are talking about, you know, somebody that has gone through what she's gone through, Simone, what she's personally gone through, you would think that somebody would be able to understand that. But I think also we have to talk about and we've talked about this before, that everybody processes what they've gone through way differently. So you are going to have the people that curl up and shy. So if it's sexual abuse, for instance, like, you're going to have those people that shy away from sex, that window down, that don't have sex with anybody, that really try to just keep their distance. And then you have other people that are trying to, how do I say this? They're trying to search for what happened, and they're trying to search for or gain back the control that they didn't have.
Yeah.
So, and that's a very slippery, messy kind of slope, because when you experience something like that, at least this is my track and how I went through. When I experienced what I experienced and went through, I felt like that sex was the only way that somebody was going to show me that they loved me. So I put myself in situations with men that I should not have put myself in. I chased the emotional, knowing that I was eventually going to have to sleep with somebody, but I never ever enjoyed actually sleeping with them. But I knew I had to. So I would put myself in those situations where I'm like, it has to be good, or I'm not good enough. Even with I'm not good enough. And so you have people that take both, where they don't want, they shy away from sex. Me, I was trying to gain back my control, or felt like that was the only way that I was ever going to be wanted by somebody. And that fucks you up, because then when you get into a good relationship, sex is very difficult. If you don't learn about it, if you don't talk about it, if you don't figure it out with the people of your own age and kind of navigate the insecurities and how weird it is, and wait, what's going on, or that.
So then I would say Simone Biles went away from it. Then I would say, like, I mean, she found her partner now. She has her. I don't know if they're married or not, but she has her husband, fiance, whatever now.
They're married.
Are they married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he the one that played on the Packers?
Yeah, he's on the football team. Yeah.
Yep.
And so she found the person that she's going to be with and whatever. But I would say that she shied away from it because she is willing to, like, protect men. Like, you're protecting men and women's spaces. So you still haven't gotten through that. You've shied away, and now all you're saying is, like, men, I'm going to protect men kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I did the same shit. Like, I was the same shit. I shied away from it too after what happened to me. I absolutely didn't want to. There was no experimentation. There was no, like, anything, probably until I was in college, or maybe college. And that was just because it was like, I don't want to, but I'm going to fly the LGBTQ rainbow bullshit and everybody's okay and blah, blah, blah. I think there's a correlation there. I can't put my finger on it yet. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, there's
a sense of, like, control, wanting to regain control. I think, like Colleen was saying, where it's like you want to undo what's already been done, because the alternative of doing the work to heal from what's been done is hard. It's really hard. And I'm sure you both could speak on that. I can't,
very hard.
Thank God I was born a man. But it's
and a large one. So
it's hard to undo. It's hard to heal from that. So, like, you spend so much time trying to undo it in a way, like you both were explaining. And because it seems like the easier route. I can undo this. I can just sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep. And then you finally come to this realization. I have to imagine like, oh crap, this ain't working. And like you said, you find a good relationship, you find a great partner. And if you want that to last, you're going to have to heal. You're going to have to go through the hard stuff. And I just think a lot of our society is avoiding the healing because it's hard. I mean, I ain't going to lie. It is hard.
I think Simone's backtrack. I think her apology, like her kind of semi-apology to Riley.
The tone changed really quick.
Yeah. I don't personally think that was like she is learning something from it or she is kind of unpacking things. I definitely think it was damage control because women were like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
what are you doing?
Good with this? Because it was and for me too, it was, I mean, that whole week there was things, there was like sprinters or whatever, AB, somebody, transgender kid, won all of the women's like state, like everything, like the long jump, the triple jump, the sprint, the whatever, he won all of it. And then there was a softball player, transgender girl pitcher who threw like 5 straight games. One of them was, there was like no hits or there was, no, it was a shutout. Then, and some other shit. And I was thinking, and I read that one about the softball player and I was like, that was me. I obviously I wasn't transgender, but I was a star pitcher on a softball team that I worked my whole life to get to on varsity. My grandfather paid so much money for all the lessons and the travel ball and the AAU and blah. I can't imagine what that would have felt like if you didn't even get to throw 1 inning because a dude was pitching on your team. And Simone Biles was just like, you're fucking horrible because go pick on somebody your own size, blah, blah, blah. I was like, damn, girl.
Like, come on.
I don't think her shit was heartfelt at all. Like, I really do. I think it was just damage control for her brand. And that also is annoying as fuck. But
yeah, I'm just, that's a tough one for me to figure out.
And also
because I would.
Oh, go ahead. No, sorry.
No, it's okay. Just going through what she went through. And I'm not saying that I eventually got to a point where I didn't want what happened to me to be the driver in my car. I was tired of sitting in the passenger seat and allowing my trauma to be the driver of my life, my choices, how I walked in this world and whatever. And so, yeah, you have to go through the shit. And I did with some amazing fucking people to get to the other side. Am I completely healed? No, I think healing is a lifetime thing. And I think that to say that it's not going to come up in other ways or come up in the same ways at some points or whatever, I think is naive to say that. I think that what we have learned is that through our healing is that like, I can pinpoint it. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like this. And this is why I'm feeling like this. So that she's aware, I'm aware, and we can navigate the situation as it comes. Whereas before I didn't. I either shut down or I would get pissed off. I'd get standoffish or, fill in the blank, whatever. But so I can understand maybe her not wanting to lead with that anymore and being like, I am my own person. I am not my trauma. But to say something like that, and I have a hard time also when you hear the narrative of people standing up for this idea that have also been victims themselves, kind of like, again, with this Simone thing, because who are you advocating for? Who are you, like, and not saying it has to be this team versus that, but like, whose team are you on? Mm-hmm. You're on the victim. You were a victim of assault. And you're standing up for other victims. And how do you went to the courts, you got these bills, you got these protections. But then you say something like this, and it's like they don't make sense
at all.
So I can't wrap my mind around, like, that's why when Bernie said, like, was it a belief or attention? I think for me, that's why it feels like it's attention, because I can't and this is just maybe we're all just dumb, but like I can't put the pieces together for it to make sense.
Yeah,
it sounded to me like she's. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, no, you're good. I was gonna say it's a puzzle that can't be pieced together because I think I don't want to call us smarter, people like us smarter or nothing, but we're willing to like. I think we're just willing to use logic more than some people are willing to use logic, and a logical brain tells you if I tweet something like this, I might get a few go get them girls or whatever, but it's probably gonna be a lot of pushback, confusion, people not understand why would you do that, like, you know, why would you say that, why would you, like, logically you know better, you know, but for some reason maybe it's the people in her life, the people in her corner, I don't know, but there's just no logic there.
Oh, Bernie, this is a good point.
That's a good one.
That's a good point.
I wonder if it bothers Simone that Riley has become a national figure. Simone is so much more accomplished as an athlete, but her fame isn't rolling over into something bigger. Envy, unfair. That's an amazing because Simone should be the activist, right?
Yeah.
Like she's female, she's black, she, you know, pro LGBTQ, pro what, you know what I mean? Pro minority, so she should be the one on the front page of every newspaper.
And maybe that's why she's doing this. Instead of doing it in a better way, this is her immature way of doing it. Being like, I should be the person.
Did she just try to become an activist and fucked up? Like,
I think
she tried to challenge Riley and fucked up.
I think so. She just went about it in like a middle school, high school kind of a way, and then it really backfired. And she didn't think about. She's not a chess player. She didn't think about 3 steps ahead. So she's like, "Uh-oh."
Because she didn't think about what she said. Oh, here, look, here's this one too. Hold on. She didn't think about this shit either, which this destroyed her pretty much.
I'm sorry, the voice and the singing is.
I know that's you're gonna do it one more time?
Good.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do it one more time. I was gonna do it 3 times.
Oh my god, it's so good. Because it's like, girl, stop it. Like, just stop. You let a boy come in there and start playing or competing against you in gymnastics. You ain't winning. Riley isn't lying. So
it's just we just got so detached from logic. It's like people are allergic to it. Like, I know there are a lot of things that are good to be emotional about. Like, don't get me wrong, everybody has, you know, you got to be emotional about stuff. But boy, when that like leads everything and you just don't want to be like logical when it matters the most, this is what happens.
Damn, Bernie, you're right. I think she probably went out there and was trying to be an advocate and was trying to get in the national spotlight the way that Riley is and go on all these talk shows and shit. And she got fucked up.
Yep.
Right.
Well,
all right, whatever.
My aunt I was just talking to my aunt and she shared with me, and I forget the name that she gave me, but it was one of the first women that ever went and played on a full court because under Title IX.
Yeah.
Under Title IX. Like she was one of the first women to get the benefits and see the results of Title IX. And she's even looking around today and going, what
happened?
Are we doing? We fought so hard to just, again, it's this idea that we fight so hard so that we're all normal. And quote unquote, we're all normal. We just want to be able to do everything that anybody can do and to be left alone. And women can play sports on national television and make some money off of it. And men can do the same thing. And we can all vote and we can all do all of these things.
All these groups end up always wanting too much, though. The WNBA wants to be paid the way that men are paid, and they don't make enough money to be able to pay to be paid the way that men are paid. The LGBTQ wants, I don't know what the fuck they want, but they want too much too. And now we're like, no, that's too much. You can't have all that shit.
That's a great point.
Now like you want to be able to spit in cops' faces and whatever. And now we're all saying, no, you want too fucking much.
You want to fuck around and not find out. Oh,
right. Sorry. No. So, that's the common denominator to all these things. They want fucking everything. And it's like, no, you can't have fucking everything. We've never been able to have everything.
Nobody.
Calm down.
Nobody. Yeah. Unless you're rich, maybe.
Yeah,
but no,
then you can be on the Epstein list and be fine. And
it's all like based on an idea that sounds good. Good intentions behind it. Like everyone should be able to compete as anyone they want. And then the back of their head, maybe, but we hope that men, if they do, that they'll suck more than the women in sports. You know, that's the idea. It's like, well, we want everyone to be able to do whatever they want. And it just sounds so good. Utopia. Without the logic of if a dude runs track, does gymnastics, swims, likely they're gonna win. Like that's just it's not a sexist thing. It's just a fact. Thing. I'm sorry, that's just what it is.
And that boxer was a dude. I don't know if we talked about it, but that,
oh my god,
it wasn't even a thing. I came on this podcast. We came on this podcast and we were like, oh, feel bad for him, like he's intersex or whatever the fuck weird shit he was born. No. He was born a fucking man.
He was born a man.
Like he was.
Wait,
not,
it was officially. I didn't hear this. It was
he's
officially.
a fucking dude. Yes, he's an intact dude. Like, get out of here, bro. You didn't have no micro nothing. You had a full fucking
dong.
5-inch. Is that micro? I don't think it is, but 6-inch.
No,
some shit.
Is it flaccid or hard?
Was it young?
No.
Someone was thankful.
But he was CJ was thankful when I said that.
Oh yeah, CJ and Ortega.
Yeah.
Ortega was so happy. He was like, praise the Lord.
But yeah, that a meanie, I don't know, whatever, that boxer from the Olympics, but that was a fucking full-fledged dude. So get the fuck out of here, bro. Like,
and I think a lot of these people think that way because it hasn't affected them. I think we've talked about that before, or someone's talked. But like there was that damn, I forget her name, but she was a popular YouTuber, I believe, out in LA, huge liberal kind of activist type of person. Then she's walking her dog, she gets dry humped by a homeless dude.
Wasn't she in the government? Wasn't she like a representative or some shit?
Could be. Definitely could be.
Ask
if it's flaccid and there's room for growth, then it's big, yeah, for sure.
Wait, I might as well get this. Kenneth DeLapp, KDO, what's up, my dude? Jeremy, off topic, but was Money in the Bank worth watching?
Life has been crazy busy. The last couple of weeks, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm gonna try to check it out. So I will let you know, KDL.
Stay tuned.
I will let you know.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
But going back to the women's basketball and equal pay and all this type of stuff or whatever, if you don't actually understand it, then yeah, the argument makes sense. Like what? Like it's a professional sport.
Yeah.
The WNBA is a professional sport. Why is it not making as much money? Why are these women not making as much money as the men are? But if you break it down and actually ask the questions and learn about it, because there's not enough money going into the pot to be able to then share with everybody.
Like women's tennis, sure, get equal pay. We're tuning in to watch women's tennis.
I'm sure Serena Williams made more money than half those men, professional men out there. Many times over again. So
it's basic economics stuff. Like it's not like there's evil men that are siphoning money that's coming to the WNBA. Like you only get part of it and the rest of it's going somewhere else. Like the money isn't coming in. It can't be more than what is coming in. Like it just can't be. That's just not how it works.
I mean, it's not equal, but women can make a lot of money.
Right. It's closer, I think.
Like it's
it's close,
there you go. Yeah.
It's not WNBA to NBA at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's my point, Jan. Yeah. Serena.
I mean, even Kornikova, to his point, like because she was attractive and not that Serena's not.
She made a lot of money.
She made a lot of money too, and she wasn't even like that good. Like she was just
and
hot.
slept with Enrique Iglesias, so she was chilling. She
I mean,
was
who
just
wouldn't?
fine.
Who wouldn't? Am I right?
There ain't no WNBA players out there sleeping with Enrique Iglesias and like going to, you know, whatever, the Met Gala. Like they ain't. I mean, there's a couple of them maybe in the next couple years because there's some hot girls in the WNBA now. So in the next couple of years, maybe.
And it sounds like these rumors are starting with Caitlin Clark and the what's the other girl? Have you seen those pictures of how Caitlin
Angel
Clark
Reese?
was looking at? No.
Yeah, I pulled.
You see that?
I'll play it again for you. I pulled it up on the show the other day.
Is my wife correct? Are these rumors true?
She's fucking gay as shit. I don't care.
So. I think so.
She's an adult. She can take these accusations. She's gay as fuck. Look at what she's wearing on a golf course.
Yeah.
Look at what this chick is wearing on a golf course, and look at what Caitlin Clark is wearing on a golf course. If I was on a golf course, I'm wearing what Caitlin Clark is wearing. I'm not wearing what this chick is wearing.
Yeah, but babe, so am I.
Yeah, but we're the same type of lesbian. We're both lesbians. She's claiming she's not one. And your shirt would be a lot tighter than Caitlin Clark's.
I probably would wear the shirt, and then
But okay, here you go. Ready?
She could be confused.
She ain't confused. Watch. Look. She not confused.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that eye. Look, yeah.
And there was another one.
And she licked her lips.
Even how she's moving. There's something more than just like, hey, this is my friend.
Wait.
It's a little bit more than that.
Wait, hold on. There's another one. I have the other one too. Hold on. Wait, here you go.
That's the one I was. Look at that. That right now.
Look.
Yeah, that look right there. That's
the way my wife looks at me. Stop it. She That's all right. It's okay. Caitlin Clark's coming. It took Sue Bird a long time. It's gonna take Caitlin Clark a long time. Like it's good. She's good. She'll be all right.
Can't just spray it. Where is he?
My youngest is yelling at me. Come here. Show him the stain you got on your shirt.
No, where is he?
Kenneth, come on. Stop it.
No, Kenneth. Oh man,
Kenneth.
I mean, who cares?
Kenneth, you and I have
either
been
way,
friends a long time, Kenneth. Maybe she's JoJo confused.
JoJo got a whole boyfriend now. You seen that?
Yo.
Man, is she really?
Seen that?
Yeah, she's. Caitlin's just going the opposite way. She got a boyfriend right now, but she about to come out and put rainbow in her hair. And JoJo now is a straight woman. So, I know I saw that shit. It's fire.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you know what? I can see Megan's point. How old is Caitlin Clark? 23, 24? Like she could be like, I don't. Yeah, she's like, I have these feelings towards this woman. But maybe at the same time, she's like, I don't know. That guy's hot too. So I don't know. But like the proof that we're seeing is that she's leaning towards like an.
Proof though.
But where's the man though? Where's her man?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's no man ever.
But wait, you guys talk about checking each other out all the time, and that makes you straight.
We size each other up, Colleen.
You slap each other's ass as many times as you possibly can when you're in the same room as each other. I guarantee that there's probably a couple pictures of you with some of your friends looking all starry-eyed at whatever. So is that the proof, though? I don't know if that's the proof.
Maybe proof is the wrong word. Maybe proof is the wrong word.
I'm just saying.
You can't. Just please promise me that on Thursday you're not going to look starry-eyed at Augie. I won't be able to take it.
No promises. I'm just not going to look at him when we're like this.
I know he's kind of hot.
His,
he's very hot.
Sunglasses on.
He's very, very hot.
He's a handsome young man for sure.
He is.
We're trying to pressure him into having some kids soon.
Oh Lord!
Because someone we all know is expecting, and we were like, oh, as an Augie, it's your turn. It's your turn.
Let it be a whole family affair.
Let's go.
Everybody have babies.
All right. You want to talk about?
Someone needs the babies.
Maybe she's JoJo confused. Yeah. Yeah, everybody's having kids right now. This is fire. People would
see. I'm saying. I mean, look at Jan's picture. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yep.
Jan and his best friend. So
it's different with guys though.
Oh God, Aaron Fraser, proof is getting caught with a dick in your mouth. Yeah, then that's
when
that's
and even still, it's like, what were you doing? Was it a dare? Was it a?
Yes, but y'all slap each other's ass on purpose many times in the same room when y'all see each other.
We do.
And y'all are still straight.
We slap each other. We also flick each other in the bean
penis
sack,
all the time too.
Yeah, our best friend calls it a sack tap. That's what you guys all do.
Mm-hmm. We like to pants each other too. Oh, real quick before the next subject, the funniest pants where you pull your friend's pants down. The funniest story ever. Long story short, bachelor party for my friend. He's getting married. I'm his best man. This is 12 years ago. And we're before we go out for the night, we're drinking, we're playing, we're partying, whatever, right? His dad and his future father-in-law are talking, right? Now, I created this whole board of like 50 different things. And at one point in the night, you had to pull, it was all covered up by like tape. It was like a dare. When we're out, you got to talk to a fat chick. You got to shotgun 5 beers, whatever. Well, one of them was pull down the bachelor's pants, right? At any point in the night. You got dad, you got future father-in-law, and you got my buddy talking all in a circle.
Oh, no.
We're like, all right, this is the perfect time to do it, right?
Amazing.
Unfortunately, it wasn't just the pants that came down.
Oh, my God, dude.
So picture these 2 old dudes, him standing there. We run up, real quick, yank, everything comes down, just flopping it out. And we just run, we're dying, and we're like, he just like casually like looks down, looks at us, just bends down, no, like, oh my God, rush, nothing, and this goes right back to talking. I was like, dude, that was the most gangster thing ever, reaction ever, but dingling everything just everywhere. I was like, oh my God, that was a fun night.
Oh my God.
Anyways, yeah, we do weird stuff.
Straight fucking men.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I want to ask Bernie this. I don't know if he's still here, but Hump's lady was a media person on Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, I think her name is. Okay.
And to that point, my point was like a lot of these like men should be able to play in women's sports, trans women, whatever. They haven't really had anything happen to them. Where, like, for example, they don't have a daughter who's 12 and has been practicing basketball since 6 and is maybe going to play on a club team or whatever, but they can't because there's a boy, or they play against a team that has a trans woman that's a boy, and they're just dunking on everybody and swatting everything. They haven't experienced that. So it's very easy to like, they should be able to do whatever they want. They should be able to do it. And then it happens to them, and they're like, oh, wait, maybe this isn't a good idea. So that was my point with that.
Do you think they're setting these kids up at all for like these trans kids that are playing in women's sports? Do you think that they're setting them up for failure? I kind of feel like they're setting them up for failure because these kids are going to get backlash, right? Their names are in newspapers, their pictures are in newspapers, they're online, they're getting tossed around by some of the biggest influencers in the space. And so now their DMs have to just be crazy, and what their school life must be like right now must be crazy.
Yeah, because there's failure, which is good, and we fail, we learn, we develop, we grow, and that's the lifelong thing. Like that's just a cycle repeats itself. Then there's utter failure. There's like failure that you almost can't come back from, like Simone Biles' situation. Like she'll come back from it probably, but like that's failure. That was a huge fail. They're being set up for
you
failure.
Can't come back. Yeah,
on a level that is
night,
just night, brother. So yeah, to answer that, it's failure that like we're not ready as a society to even handle. How do you deal with somebody who's now like, let's say 19, 20 years old that played as was a girl, a biological boy as a girl playing in all these sports, and then they come to the realization like, oh, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this
dude.
Like how as a therapist, how do you deal with that? How do you be like, yeah, you're right, it ain't right, and then where do you go? I don't think we're prepared for that.
No, we're definitely not.
No.
Speaking of parents,
Megan, I'm going to ask a dumb question. No dumb questions here. Do you think the parents are part of it, wanting their child to be amazing at a sport, but can't at one gender, so it helps them to the other to shine? I personally don't believe that. I do I do think that parents are stuck in a, hey, that mindset of like, I'm afraid and I don't want my kid to kill themselves, and I just want to be a good ally to the LGBTQ minority. And I think there's either some weird like Hollywood parents that are just like think their kid is like a dog in a purse, and so they just want you know what I mean? Like, hey, I want to be fashionable this year, so my kid's going to be transgender. But I don't think by any means that they're doing it to get their kids to win.
Yeah, but that might be like 1 out of 100, maybe, but like it ain't common. It's the social pressure, like you're saying. They don't want to be the ones to be like, no, we're not doing that. They want to just, this is what is acceptable. This is what is popular. This is what. Not really giving much thought to exactly what you were just saying before, the consequences, the future consequences, and they're not. It's just popular, they don't want to stand up against it.
Yo, you're gonna have to retrain therapists. The therapists even know how to talk about this? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, how as a therapist, but like, hey, I'm having a bad day. My life is hard. My marriage is hard. My job is hard, and they have a playbook how to deal with that. Hey, I used to be a girl. I'm a biological man. I used to be a girl. I played all these sports as a biological man. Can you help me? Like,
I know. How do you? I wouldn't even begin to know where to go with that.
Crazy.
All right, before we get out of here, oh man, I was on such a good time setting. All right, maybe we can get to both of these. Alex Kazan went on the 7 podcast, had that horrific accident. She told everybody that it, like, you got to see like whoever it was that was driving was really high, drunk, pills, all kinds of weird shit in the car. No, it's not over, John. Oh, I've never called you John. Sorry, Ortega. Forgive me. I apologize. I don't even call you Jan, John. But I mean, obviously it was horrible, and I'm so happy that she's okay. She's 23 years old. And so I guess what I want to ask you guys is, she looks so composed when she was talking to Sev. Like, she just, she was explaining how it's going to work for her going to the games.
I haven't watched yet, so I'll
it's really, really good. Poor thing, like glass in her eyes, all kinds of stuff. Like
glass everywhere.
And she looks like she's so not angry. Like, she's so not having emotions right now. And at 23 years old, and you're about to go to the games, you just destroyed an event to be able to go to the games. You've worked 7-something years for this. And then someone is a complete idiot, waste of time, waste of life, driving a car, completely destroys your fucking year. How much anger do you think that she's actually processing right now?
I want to first give Alex Suzanne tons of credit. Number one, 23, 24 years old, to have that composure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. To have that composure is unbelievable.
Yep.
Considering all of the different factors. And then I think it's even more impressive because she's so open and awesome. This is what CrossFit was 10 years ago with the games athletes and the roads to the game. Like, you got to see that, and we want to see that. We're not necessarily like the NBA and stuff where like you see them at a game, you see them walk in their outfits and stuff, but you don't get too much of an insight. So we got to see her, and she's been very open about her struggles with like anxiety, and it affects her sleep, and her heart beats really fast at times, and she's trying to get a hold of all of that. So for her to be that composed the day after with still glass in her eyes and everything, like I was tremendously, she ballooned up to like she's my number one like CrossFit girl that I'm like, Like you got my I'm cheering for you like 100% on and off the field of play.
I think she still has to possibly be in some shock. I
Sure.
think there's a little bit of or a lot of shock to the system still. I think that her sharing it is part of the process for her, is part of the whole thing. And to be that composed that soon after, yeah, I give her so much credit for that. I still think that there has to be some shock factor of like what actually happened, what is going to be the next step. You know, we all can say that, hey, this is the plan, but what are those next steps going to look like? What if it is surgery? What does it look like? What's recovery look like? What's getting back? You know, that kind of stuff. And yeah, back into HGR's comment, grateful to be alive. Yeah. And that's part of the shock of like, holy shit, I'm still here.
But
like
also,
I'm still here. How close to the ground can I stay because I'm here? You know?
And that's the other thing too, is though, once she really like, she's happy and hopeful for the future and wants to be alive. And yes, she should be. And that's a great feeling to have. Also, how,
I don't think that she's
to realize that you almost died because this dude is a complete no aspirations for life. Like that dude doesn't care if he lives or dies, obviously, because he's doing all kinds of shit that he shouldn't be doing. And to have to know that your life was in the hands of somebody else who just doesn't give a fuck about life, like that's
she's definitely processing it. And part of that, because all of that trauma type event, there's going to be a long process that could last years, you know? So there's going to be ebbs and flows where I'm sure maybe right now she's like crying and super emotional and like, oh my God, like this is like, because what happens oftentimes, and I know I'm not the only one to say this, something bad will happen to you. And something like that, where it was on someone else, somebody you don't know, some random person almost killed you. So then you kind of like, you withdraw and you just don't do anything because you're afraid now. Your brain is trying to protect you. Hey, don't do anything because this can happen again, and then it can happen again, and that's part of the process she's going to have to go through. It sounds like she's got Justin Cotler, she's got a great husband, she's got a good family. Specifically, sounds like on his side, that's in her corner that she's going to really need to rely on, because if you allow that mentality to take over, then we won't have an Alex Kazan. She'll just be like, I'm done doing anything because I'm terrified that if I'm driving or if I'm doing something terrible is going to happen. So it's going to be a whole process. And I think she's 23 years old with such a good head on her shoulders. I think she's going to come out the other side better and stronger.
It's also still possible that she's going to have those experience, that moment or that couple months or maybe a year where she's like, you know what? I have to take a step back, not to be a public figure, not to be in CrossFit. Like, I just need to live a simple life with my husband and my friends and whatever. And she might go through that.
Yeah.
And whether it's she feels the need to get herself to the games this year, and that's because that's what is making her like process this kind of stuff, but it will hit her. And I think that taking the time to take that step back, I think is more possible than not.
My immortality bubble, my immortality, like, you know, you're young, you're in your early 20s, you're invincible, you think you can do anything.
I still am. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. You do anything. Right. Like
No, I'm kidding. I know.
You have kids. You ain't
can't.
You
ain't trying to do that shit.
No.
You know, my grandparents took me and a friend to Jamaica my senior year. We jumped in the back of a fucking pickup truck and just went randomly off to some club with people we didn't fucking know, not thinking shit could happen to us. Right. Like you just have this bubble of immortality that you're in. And like my bubble bursted early at like, and nobody say weird shit, not cherry. I didn't say cherry. I said bubble. Bursted at like, 22-ish or whatever. And for her, this like, and not only was she in the car, but her husband was in the car.
Mm-hmm.
The one person that she loves more than anybody else was in that car with her.
Mm-hmm.
So she could have lost him. She could have lost herself. She could it's that bubbles is going to burst a little bit at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great point. Absolutely.
You know what I
and
mean?
It has to. It has to. Because you have to have that moment where you feel and realize your own mortality. Because otherwise, not that she was being reckless, but like otherwise, I would argue you end up like the guy that hit him.
But that's the worst part because she wasn't even being reckless, right?
Exactly.
She has her whole life has been dedicated to being on the straight and narrow, doing everything the right way, taking personal accountability or whatever. She wasn't doing shit. And so for her, I didn't even do anything. And I still almost, my husband still almost like.
Yeah. That's a scary, that's a scary, because it shows how little we actually have control over. And if you get stuck there mentally, it's very scary. And I think a lot of people they live that way. I would argue my parents are just like that. They like bad stuff happen and they just live in that bad stuff can always happen. Well, duh. Like in a minute, I'm going to take my kid to a sleepover. Like the car ride there, something can happen. Something can happen to her when she's there. But we can't like let that stop us. But that's something she's going to have to get past now. It's going to be part of her healing journey to get past that thought that, it's so, I have no control. Like nobody has any control. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have control like we wish we did.
Well, going back to what CK Kevin said, and by the way, hello. I feel like we
haven't seen you forever. It's good to see you, bro.
Getting back to competing will be part of the healing process. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I just think that the path to get there might not look the same for her as it might have looked for someone else. I mean, take Brooke Wells, for instance. She broke her elbow in the middle of the CrossFit Games floor. You know what I'm saying? And that traumatic thing happened to her. What did her process look like? For her, it was so important to get back to the games, but we only got to see what was on the surface that she allowed us to see. But what work did she do behind the scenes? What did she have to deal with behind the scenes? How many times is she still fearful to this day anytime that she does a heavy snatch or anytime she puts anything over her head or muscle ups or anything that has to do with that locking out extension of her elbow? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a consistent, constant process. So I'm not saying it's not good for her to get back to competition or that she might come back, as HDR said, that she might get back way quicker than we think. I'm not saying that she's not going to.
I hope she
does.
I'm
saying is if it's compartmentalizing, that's different than moving through it and healing from it. So how, like her getting back to the games in her process, and again, we're all just speculating. Obviously, her process is her process, but what does that look like? And is it actually healing from what she experienced, or is it just, I need to slap a Band-Aid on this as fast as possible because I need to get back to the games to show, I don't know, herself that she can prove it. Like all the credit to Justin Kotler. He's been there for her. Is it giving it to, him, her fans, or whatever? And not saying that she would do this, but like, is it healing or is it compartmentalizing because she's telling herself that she has to get there?
Is it a Band-Aid?
Is it a Band-Aid? Yeah.
Because if it is, and then she makes it to the games and then does horribly or gets injured again, now you're restarting another healing process. Yeah. Which you could arguably ignored in the first place. Now, none of us are her. I'm not in her shoes. I'm not sitting there saying like she shouldn't do the games and she should only focus on healing as a person, whatever. I'm not saying that. If it helps her to train and still have that goal of making the games, great, fantastic. We all want to see you there. But at the same time, it's like, is that the best idea? Is that going to help you?
Yeah.
And the only person that's going to know that is her.
Yeah.
It's her.
100%.
She's the only person that's going to know what's best for her healing process, because like you guys both said, it wasn't just her.
Yeah.
It's her husband too.
Yeah.
So not only are you healing your own trauma of your own experience of what happened, but now you're healing the same trauma that you're experiencing with your partner, with your the most important person in your life too. Yeah. Like your own process is one thing and your own healing is one thing. But when you have to heal directly beside your partner and support them while they're healing, and they're trying to support you while you're healing, and they might be two different journeys.
Yeah.
But also wrapping your head around the fact that not only did you almost lose your own life, you almost lost the most important person to you. That for me would be such a mind fuck that it would take a very long process to navigate through. But she sounds like she has really good support around her, which I think is the number one thing. So like, you know, just sending her, you know, speedy recovery and healed recovery, and just hope she's doing okay. I'll have to check out that.
Yeah, it was a really good pod. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. It was really good.
Great. Yeah. It was good.
All right, dude. Thanks for coming to hang out with us.
It's always a good time. Always a good time.
We're gonna get Pat Lang back on.
Okay.
He hit me up with some Pride Month conversation things that we went back and forth about.
Threw the punches at Pat today,
and so
in the chat this morning or on the podcast.
Did you see Dale? Was that yesterday? Dale Saran was on.
I haven't caught on. I think I'm halfway through that one. I haven't caught all the way up on that one. Why was Patty in that one going nuts?
They eventually get on Pat for. Was it Pat? Yeah, I think it was Pat for saying some stuff, and maybe a couple other people. Jake, they got on Jake. Jake said something in there too.
Oh, Jakey boy. Okay.
Pretty sure they both got they both got a little bit of a little gaping, as Taylor would say.
Okay, that's fine. We get one of those per show on here.
I mean, Dale, if you guys could get him on, I mean, that guy is.
I would love to. I'm intimidated by Dale. To be honest,
I am too.
He's so super intimidated by that dude.
Witty and like
he's amazing.
He's got all these facts right on the tip. I mean, he'll just say something and then the source, and you're like, well,
if we had just walk around with that, like, if we had him on the show, it'd be like daddy talking to his kids. You know what I mean? Like
straight up.
Jeremy, we're still waiting on our payment for past listen, we're taking all and any donations for Jeremy's therapy sessions.
Yeah. This has been incredible.
Super chats are at the bottom. Just, you know,
they got Saran wrapped.
Wow, Bernie. Nice job, dude. Nice job. That's crazy.
Bernie's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, we're going to have Pat back on for Pride Month. And then, you know, because he's our biggest ally. So
he is absolutely he's small. He's your smallest, biggest ally.
Smallest, biggest ally. Yeah.
Biggest ally.
And then don't forget, guys, if we're super excited. Monday we're gonna have Rebecca Voigt Miller on. Can't wait for that. And then the boys, I think, are talking to Dave Lipson. I keep saying Lippensteel because they keep saying it, but
Jake keeps saying it. I'm like,
yeah. So I think the boys are on here on Sunday with him. So that should be cool.
He better not stand him up again. Although I will say,
it was a funny episode.
It was still a great episode.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
Funny, but like, come on, Thunder Bro, get on. Let's go. We want to hear.
Let's go. I know. I want to hear from him too.
I'm sure Jan is DMing him by the day.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hey, see you in 2 days. Hey, see you in 2 days or 3 days or whatever. I'm sure.
Thanks, Ken.
Oh,
we were kidding. But we'll make sure that Jeremy gets his therapy.
Yes.
Did you guys see Jake interview James Townsend yesterday?
I saw it.
Oh my god,
that was good.
It was really good.
Like, Jake, I know you're probably sleeping around, but like that was
really
amazing.
Good. Yeah.
I love James. I think I don't know anyone who doesn't love Jake, but I really appreciate that guy, especially when they get into like the religion talk, because he and I see very eye to eye on a lot of those things.
He's a cool dude.
And Jake he's really coming into his own of being able to like bring that out of people, you know. That was so cool. Anyways,
when he put up the video of James and his daughter, and James actually got emotional on I was like, who? And then I never heard the story of him with football and almost taking his life and all that type of stuff, and like I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I told Jake after, I was like, you're gonna make me cry, or I'm gonna cry 3 times today. And so this was yesterday. That I teared up from that. My son graduated 5th grade, and I finished the podcast and went and watched him graduate 5th grade. And then the third, I jokingly told him, I said, and Augie's gonna beat me today, and I'm gonna cry. So you're gonna make me cry 3 times in one day. But luckily that didn't happen. To be determined on that. We'll see. That was amazing. That was great.
James is so good. Yeah, for sure, for real.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna say goodnight to the People's Champ. We'll see you on Thursday. We'll be rooting for you.
Yep.
Thanks all you guys for hanging out. I think Savon's doing his last chance qualifier thing tonight.
So,
yeah.
I want to say 8 or 9 o'clock your guys' time, I believe.
I think it's 9 our time, like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. So yeah.
Just
Thanks,
in time
guys.
for sushi and Savon, right?
Sushi and Savon. And you know what sushi means. Okay.
Bye.
Deuces.